princess in medieval Europe. I live in a castle. I have maids and lots of jewelry. It may sound glamorous, but we also don't understand about sanitation or bacteria, hand washing, and many other things that you kids in the 21st century understand. We do not have running water or toilets, and we don't take baths very often. Let me tell you some more interesting facts about the Middle Ages. Well, don't forget about me. Just because I'm a serf doesn't mean I don't count. We do almost all the work around here. We plow the fields, we plant the seeds, we harvest the crops. Without us, this society wouldn't work. Quite right, of course. Well, peasants and serfs did do the lion's share of the work. However, they weren't really rewarded accordingly. They were kept safe, and their concerns were heard by the Lord and dealt with in the form of a law. That's true. We did often work back-baking days, though. We should get paid for it. Of course you should, but back then, that's not really what they thought about. You did get food. Yes. Enough to keep us going. We are tied to the land. Not officially slaves, but tied to the land. Without the peasants, we wouldn't have had the food that we had. Our society would not have worked the way they do. They are very underappreciated. Well, thank you for saying that. Would you like to see inside my home? Oh, that would be lovely. Thank you. All right, let's go. My name is Julius Caesar. I was an emperor in ancient Rome until somebody killed me. Now, Rome was a wonderful empire. It reached from what is currently Africa all the way to the north of the United Kingdoms, what is known as Scotland. We had many wonderful relics and artifacts that are still around today. We built arches and aqueducts, and even this massive arena called the Colosseum. Now, we may have extended ourselves a bit too much and spread out too far. Our troops were spread thin. When someone attacked the great metropolis of Rome, we needed to call our troops home. It's not our fault that we left a vacuum of power. No one was in charge. There were no laws when we left, and it was unclear as to when they would show up again. Finally, people started taking charge and restoring order. People created something called the feudal system. The feudal system was a layer of society. At the top was the king. I'm here, dear, I'm here. I'm coming. Yes, I was the most powerful. I owned everything in my kingdom. If you pleased me, I would grant you land in exchange for fealty. That means loyalty. You would agree to fight for me and pay me taxes on the land that you had. In exchange, you would be an honored member of the nobility, given a title, land, and riches. This is called a monarchy, with a king and a queen, and a princess like me. Many places across Europe, such as France, Denmark, Spain, had kings, queens, and monarchies. Often, princesses like us would be used to create a political stronghold or ties with other countries. No. Yes, you were very valuable like that, but don't make it about you. It's about me, the most important man in the land. And woman dear, of course, and me. Now, I am a lord. I own lots and lots of land. I do owe fealty to my king, the most important man in the world. However, I do have many people underneath me. They protect me and they go to war when I ask. They farm my land, the peasants and the serfs, and they pay rent to me. In return, I pay rent to my king. Of course you do. don't forget about me. Skilled craftspeople were very important. We created lovely art such as stained glass windows for churches, built things, made huge castles by the masons, and we had very important jobs. We could actually become quite rich doing it and make lots and lots of money. However, one thing we were lacking was the nobility and the title that goes with it. Well, don't forget about me. Just because I'm a serf doesn't mean I don't count. We do almost all the work around here. We plow the fields, we plant the seeds, we harvest the crops. Without us, the society wouldn't work. Quite right, of course. Well, peasants and serfs did do the lion's share of the work. However, they weren't really rewarded accordingly. They were kept safe, and their concerns were heard by the Lord and dealt with in the form of a law. That's true. We did often work back-baking days, though. We should get paid for it. Of course you should, but back then, that's not really what they thought about. You did get food. Yes. Enough to keep us going. We are tied to the land. Not officially slaves, but tied to the land. Without the peasants, we wouldn't have had the food that we had. Our society would not have worked the way they do. They are very underappreciated. Well, thank you for saying that. Would you like to see inside my home? Oh, that would be lovely, thank you. All right, let's go. So as I said before, let me give you the tour. Here is where we keep our livestock, like chickens. You might see that there's livestock like these sheep and chickens and pigs inside. Well, we have to keep them safe. We can't let them, they are a livelihood, and without them we would starve, like this cow that gives us milk. Now, here you might see our straw mattress and our lovely closet for the very few articles of clothing that we have. Our roof is actually very cutting edge. It is thatch. Yes, it is highly flammable, but it does keep us dry and warm. This fireplace is also known as the hearth. Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, it is quite enlightening. Thank you. Well, goodbye, serf. We'll see you later.
In the Middle Ages, kings needed armies to defend their lands. It was a lord's job to serve his ruler as a knight. Hello, Sir Gregory.
Hello.
A knight had to have his own armor and own a horse. He also employed staff who followed him into battle. Like me, I am a squire. The squires helped to dismount and mount his horses. They took care of the horses and weapons. Yes, I have a very busy job taking care of Sir Gregory. How did you become a knight, Sir Gregory?
To be a knight, a nobleman's son had to first become a page, then a squire. At around 7 years old, I was sent away to another noble household. There I worked as a page until I was about 13, when I was made a squire. I learned how to fight and use weapons.
Yes, that is what I am doing now. I am learning how to fight and use weapons, and I follow Sir Gregory and take care of his horses.
At age 21, I was made a knight. I went to a special dubbing ceremony.
Wow, Sir Gregory, thanks for showing us, or telling us about it.
In the Middle Ages, many castles were built. They were built to keep important and rich people like lords, and of course myself, the king, safe. Early in the Middle Ages, many castles were built out of wood, but as the years went on, castles were built out of stone to be stronger and safer. There are many parts to the castle, such as the strong, fortified wall, the moat to keep people out that we didn't want inside and keep people in. To get across the moat, we had a drawbridge. A drawbridge could be lowered using a system of pulleys and gears and allow access to large groups of people as they crossed the moat. The Great Hall was a wonderful place that could be used for large dinners, parties, and holding meetings. The keep was a very strongly fortified place that would hold our weapons, jewels, and riches, and keep them safe even when the castle could be breached.
The outer walls of the castle often kept villagers, craftspeople, and subjects safe from attack. To defend the castle, my archers and soldiers would patrol the curtain walls and towers, keeping a sharp eye looking out for anyone who could be considered a threat. These slits on the outside of a castle wall offered a very important purpose. Archers could aim their bows and arrows through them at approaching enemies. It also allowed them vantage points to see outside the castle. Some of them also acted as guard robes. Now, this is a very sensitive subject, so listen carefully. We would store our furs and fancy clothes in these guard robes. Moths are not known to like the smell of urine and feces. From the outside, these guard robes could be used, and we could use them as what you call toilets. Our waste would fall into the moat around the castle, again making it a very undesirable place to be. I told you. I hope you've learned a lot about the Middle Ages. Yes, indeed. It was not really the most pleasant place to live. However, it is home to me, and I enjoyed it. Of course you enjoyed it. You're a queen. Being a queen is not always cracked up to be. Very true. There's lots more to learn, though, so I hope you do some more research. Yes, indeed. Check out some great websites, as you call them, in the 21st century. There is lots of information. Look at museums, books, movies. YouTube? Is that how you say it? I think the kids are calling it YouTube in the 21st century. Indeed. Well, thank you for listening. Yes, thank you. And now, let's party!